chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina Speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You can hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks, voices of the islands and conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am happy to be here with you, and I call today's episode, it's a Mindful Monday episode. Yes, I am your host, Sabrina, and I'm not only your host, I'm also your neighbor and your voice in all of the noise. And today I'm hoping not just to, if you're not just sipping some afternoon tea or a little bit of coffee, I don't know, or maybe even an adult beverage, or scrolling the headlines, we're seeing what's happening around the world. I'm hoping that you will take a pause with me so be able to reflect and really ask the right question. Are we too comfortable? Because while we're enjoying our beaches, maybe even our brunches on a Sunday, our blessings, the Caribbean is shifting, and not quietly. So the content you're about to hear here, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, or participants, is intended solely for general, informational, and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Sabrina Speaks disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented here. And don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can follow me on Facebook. Just search for Sabrina Turner. You'll see the community activist. Click it. I'm also on Instagram at the @ the A with the circle around it, at Sabrina Speaks, the number 12. And you can find me as well on all CMR platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook as well, and on cmrtv.com. It is a pleasure to be back. I see you all commenting. It's always good to see you. I want to say big happy birthday shout outs to everyone who's celebrating a birthday today, who celebrated a birthday over the weekend, and whose birthday is coming up. I know that September is definitely winding down. Oh my God, how the time is going by so quickly. But special shout outs to my dear cousin, Stephanie McCoon, over there in the Brack. Now you can see that's a Brack baby, she's on the bluff. Yes, Stephanie celebrating her birthday. And, I just want to send her all the best wishes to her over there. I know she's had a rough weekend. We buried our good friend, Philip. I was not able to go over for that because I participated in another funeral here in Grand. But, good friend, Philip, may he still rest in peace. But Stephanie, happy birthday to you. I hope that you're having a good day, and that everybody, else who was celebrating birthday with their friends, you just give God thanks for sparing your life to see another day. And to everyone who's coming, like I said, upcoming. Yeah, happy birthday to you when it comes as well. Yeah, I like to celebrate other people's birthdays, but when it comes to me, I just pray I can dodge a bullet, so nobody just don't pick it up and I just go on with life, And then all of a sudden in the afternoon, everybody figures it out. But yeah, what's been going on? I hope that you've had a good weekend. I'm getting to you commenters. It's good. I see you through the corner of my eye. But you know what? Let's get some good news here. You realized on Friday there was a public appeal for Jeffrey Diaz Hernandez. Well, there is an update. Jeffrey, who was reported missing on Wednesday, 24th of September, over the weekend, presented himself to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and appeared to be in good health. Now, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service wants to thank the entire public for their assistance. And like I said, I prayed for good news here for this one. And I'm just so happy that Jeffrey Hernandez Diaz is okay. And again, thanks to anyone who shared information, and thanks for him for just going there and presenting himself, presenting himself. So I'm happy that he's been presented himself and he's back with his family. And again, we have that's another praise for our community. So you see some other headlines as well, that the RCIPS is doing this road safety campaign as it pertains to persons pulling trailers. And it's an appeal really for construction workers and landscaping companies who may have these trailers or these, I guess, little boys that are converted into whatever it is to carry debris and garbage. And we see that a lot of times they do not have indicators or lights so that you would know if you're behind them, where they're turning, that sort of stuff. Lots of times they're not properly covered. And the police is doing a campaign on that. And this is not only limited, even though that particular campaign that has been popping up on your social media feeds so often is appealing to persons, and they're charging them, they're ticketing them for landscaping companies and construction companies. That speaks volumes to all of the other vehicles as well, who either does not have any lights at all, broken tail lights, or one may be working, or they have just been modified with these high fluorescent bulbs. So again, kudos to the police for going out there and at least tackling that. I don't think that their work will go in vain here. It's just a matter of finding these persons. But for anyone in the construction industry, landscaping industry, that appeal is for you, because for true, you're sometimes behind them and you don't know because you can't see the actual vehicle that's pulling this trailer. You don't know if they're going to turn right or left. You don't know when they're braking, which is good, especially when you see these type of vehicles, to stay at a safe distance behind to give yourself that braking room, because sometimes you got to pretty much think or try to predict what they're going to do, because you can't see the brake lights. You can't see if they're indicating. So that's a good strategy there. I'm just going to do a quick highlight on some of the headlines that you can find on cmrtv.com. You notice that there's a BMW recall on a number of different models. And we are seeing that they're being recalled, and we want to do our part with definitely sharing that information with you, definitely here in this space. And I'm going to post, let's see what we can do here. I'm definitely going to post those makes and those models for you, so that you will know which ones are actually up. And so you don't what vehicles BMWs are being recalled. So here we go. It includes a 2020 and 2022 Supra as well. That was interesting. That caught me for a loop, because even though it says BMW, and there we go. So that's that. Those are some of the models that have been recalled in the BMW 2019 to 2022. The BMW Z4, BMW 330i, 2019, 2021, 2020 to 2022, the X3, and the X4 as well, 2020 to 2022, BMW 530i, and the 430i, standard and convertibles, 2021. So it's very interesting what these recalls are doing. So yeah, we want to just keep you up to date here on all of that so that you will make sure that if you fall into this, it's over 200,000 of these vehicles due to a fire risk. And these are those vehicles, those models that are being affected. And owners are asked to park their vehicles outside and away from structures until the remedy is completed. And this, you know how Cayman we import a lot of these, but this is something that if you've even gotten any of these models here in Cayman, we have a dealer here. So we want you to go to actually your dealer and ask the right questions. Now, starting from November 14, owners can verify if their vehicle is affected by scanning their vehicle identification VIN number or license plate number to the NHTSA website. BMW owners can also call the company's recall hotline, and I will also put that 1-800 number up here for you, just in case you are the owner of a BMW. I want to keep it all in sync here. You can call that number for more information. So that's what we have there on that recall. It's been, and hey, public appeal. You know, Miss Romelia. Miss Romelia is known to us in many ways, and this is a public cry out to help for her as she replaced her, tried to replace her vehicle. And this is a charity fundraiser for Miss Romelia. Welcome. We would know that back in June, her van was set ablaze, and we're asking for your help in this community effort. You can see the banking details. We see her goal of $35,000 she's trying to raise. 936-2225 is the number to call for more information to try and help Romelia get back on her feet here. And based on the extensive work in the community in which she helps with seniors and children and the vulnerable, this vehicle is her bloodline in order for continuing in those activities. So let's see what we can do with helping Miss Romelia. Now, that's these stories and much more that you can find on CMR Facebook page and so much more. So yeah, I encourage you to go on there and get all up to date with that. So there we go. I'll be right back after this short message to actually acknowledge all of you as you go ahead and like, share, and tell your friends to come on board for another episode of Sabrina Speaks. We'll be right back after this message.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage is pleased to announce that the nominations for the 2026 National Recognition Awards are now open. Nominate individuals and groups who played a key role in developing the Cayman Islands' physical infrastructure. The categories include landmark leaders, infrastructure innovators, and the builders of Cayman. Visit gov.ky/YSCH. Click on the nominate button to make a nomination. Here is a step-by-step guide to fill out the form. Before starting, please read the instructions, the award categories, and the eligibility criteria. Step 1. Enter your personal information and select the award category for the person or group you are nominating. Click Yes to confirm that your nominee meets the criteria. Step 2. Enter the nominee's full name, date of birth, and district. Indicate their current status, whether living or deceased, and ensure you have the current contact information for your nominee and their next of kin. Fill out the submission detail and provide any supporting documents and a reference to support your nomination. Step 3. Review your submission and make any changes by clicking the previous button. When you are ready, confirm and agree to the terms and click Submit Form to make your nomination. A thank you notice will confirm that the nomination was received, and a copy of the application will be sent to your email. Your nomination will be reviewed and considered by the National Recognition Awards Committee, and only successful nominees will be contacted and recognized at next year's National Heroes Day ceremony. The deadline to make a nomination is October 15. Remember, you can submit multiple nominations or browse our frequently asked questions by visiting the National Recognition Awards tab at gov.ky/YSCH. We look forward to receiving your nomination.
Welcome back to Mindful Monday. Yes, it's this episode of Sabrina Speaks right here on CMRTV.com. And if you've just joined me, we're exploring the quiet unease rippling through the Caribbean. I'm going to aim to go from immigration reform here right at home, again, because this has presented itself to me all weekend, to growing tensions between Trinidad and Venezuela. It's a moment to pause, reflect, and ask. Are we too comfortable? So I encourage you to participate in this discussion, 936-8255. It's me, you, me and you. It's me and you today. And as we unpack what this means for Cayman's future, the potential risks, and keeping us in the know, there's no sense of us hiding or not being aware as to what's happening. And I feel that it's important for us to discuss these because it's happening right here on our doorsteps. And we can't keep our heads in the sand. And this is by no means to fearmonger. Anyway, it's just a matter of keeping the lines of communication open. And maybe you weren't aware. Good afternoon, Connie. How are you? I hope that you're having a good Monday, that you must be got off of work early. Hi, Sonia. It's good to see you. Good evening, my dear. Damien Henry. Good evening. I saw your email, and it's not as easy as you think to respond. And without a letter, my dear, it's hard. And that's not something that I do, but I will respond. It's very deep. So yeah, thank you for your email. And without a letter, you're flying in the blind. You have a right to get a letter, but you know what I'm talking about. Hi, Jasara. Hi, good afternoon. Yep. Connie, true. And sometimes they're speeding. Yes, that is, I guess, about the headline with these vehicles pulling these carts and low boys and so forth. So there we have it. Miss Rose, welcome. It's always good to see you. And good evening, Marshall. Thanks to everyone who is tuning in this evening. And I'm hoping that you will stay with me, and not only stay with me, but participate in the discussions. It's one thing of bringing subjects and topics here, but how do I know where you're thinking, what you're thinking, what's bothering you? What are things that you want to ask? You can easily send me a WhatsApp on the same 936-8255. I'll do my best to try and answer it. Or if you want to participate in the conversation, you want to do that live. 936-8255 is the number to call. I want to make sure that what we bring here is sound. It does take time. It does take me having to be in tune with what's happening all around us, and definitely keep an eye on not only what's happening locally, but also what's happening regionally and international. It was so heart-wrenching or heartbreaking yesterday when I turned on the TV and saw where yet again there was another incident at a Latter-day Saints church in the United States, where it was a 40-year-old ran their vehicle into the front of the door, set the church on fire. They're still, from what I'm gathering, and I stand to be corrected, whether or not there was a suspicious, what appeared to be an explosive device, and there was one person that was shot or dead. And then later on, they found about 3 other persons, to a total of 4 up to when I'm delivering this. Now they're expecting more casualties, including children. What does that say? Not even safe in church anymore with what's happening. And of course, this is ongoing investigation there in the United States. And we're seeing it trickle down. It's like there's one incident after the other when it comes to hate crimes. It's just so much unrest that's happening in the world, and hence this topic today, and the uneasiness amongst our own and those who are living amongst us. What's happening, the political climate that we're feeling and we're seeing here in the Caribbean, and people are being vocal. That's one good thing. And does it even question our sovereignty? Yes, we are a British overseas territorial jurisdiction, and which means we are owned by the UK. There are others that are owned, with other you have the CARICOM, that they're independent and that sort of stuff. And I told you all that I wanted to one day just bring up the topic of national security and just break it down so that you'll know exactly which countries are ruled under what flags, that sort of stuff. I think that will come in addition to a story on Sunday trade. I will more than likely do Sunday trade tomorrow. I will more than likely do a Sunday trade. I have gotten a request for that. And Shaka Zulu, I haven't forgotten you. It's just a matter that sometimes these topics requires not only just me coming here and speaking on it, but without feedback and participation from you all. Many a times it just looks like it's me. And many times the message is misread or sometimes misunderstood. But I want to thank the persons who have seen me out when I do go out and have thanked me for the sobering conversations and discussions that we've been having on this platform. That actually motivates me and inspires me, because sometimes I'm wondering if it's actually getting home or if I'm possibly misread, misunderstood. But from the most part, what feedback persons have been giving me, they're liking the topics that we have been bringing here, the fact that I'm able to bring on a diverse guests where different age groups are concerned, and that will continue. But it does make a difference on certain subjects, like how I had Miss Joy on. I had Mr. Roy Borden as a former MP, member of Parliament, legislative then those days. And there's just certain topics that it's best when you have somebody to come on. I do plan as well to have on someone to speak about the banking. We've explored the whole real estate market, and I'm hoping now to get all of those together after we do the banking segment, to get all of those around the round table so that it is brought to you in one package, and then it will all make sense as to where we're going. So this weekend, I've received a number of messages in regards to the uncertainty. This is something that I brought up, and I said, guys, I brought up this topic on my show in regards to the uncertainty of what's going to happen with the immigration reform. And right now we can see the temperature on the ground almost feels as though we are a society that we're divided. This topic is very topical. It's very emotive. It's very sensitive in a sense where we are charged with making sure that we have immigration policies and legislation that protects who we are as a people, that creates a fence or security mechanisms where it enables every Caymanian to be able to gain employment, not be blocked because of a system or where these glass ceilings are concerned. And some of the questions are like, who gets to stay? If I break now, if I do my rollover now, let's say I'm rolling over in 2026. If I go now, if I don't renew now, would I be impacted with the proposed 2-year rollover? That was one of the questions that keeps coming up. And I says, I can't answer that question at this time because we don't know. It's only a recommendation. These are just conversations that are being had until it's tabled on the floor of Parliament. And right now it should be still in a consultative phase with the public. How are you able now to provide that feedback when we're hearing that it's not clear as to what could be? But then you're hearing all of those, just go, all of the foreigners just leave. We're growing too fast. There's not enough space here for our Caymanians to return back from school. It's like they're being blocked. Who stays, who goes? How will the rollover be impacted? Do we know for sure if it'll be a two-year stay before we come back? These are some of the questions. And then it's questioned, well, then are they going to favor certain people based on certain industry? Who gets to come? Who gets left behind? Will it be everybody then should go as a special caregiver? Should we all look then into that industry? And then, these are some of the questions. Then you have the concerns of some of our seniors who are worried then about their helpers or their caregivers, who may have changed employers before, not designated a special caregiver, but then would have reached their rollover before 3 years of being with their current employer. And then, so they're subjected to, so there's to roll over whether or not. So these are some of the questions that I have gotten from a number of my seniors, persons whose kids have seen me, and they're asking these questions. And it's, even though it may be specific to their household, it means a lot to them. And this is why the word or the term, it's a delicate balance, in all honesty, is quite frequent in this conversation for this specific topic. Now, we're not saying it's not time for once and for all we stop talking about immigration reform and just get it done. But it's how it's done and what industries is it going to be phased. And I'm hoping, which is what I keep repeating to people who are coming to me, they're still in discussions. They're still in discussions. And nothing is written in stone. A lot too are concerned about the 22 years before one can acquire Caymanian status. And, that is something that is there at the forefront for Caymanians, and even spouses who are married to foreign nationals are questioning. Caymanians who are married to foreign nationals who may be reaching close to that time where they would be eligible, let's say in the next year and a half. If this comes through, it all depends on when the law, if it is passed as proposed, it all depends on when the law takes effect. Will there be a grandfather clause, meaning would it affect a certain set of people who have been here for X amount of years or whose application is already pending? They will not be impacted. They would still be considered under the current legislation. These are all of the questions that are still out there. I encourage people, though, that if they're having any virtual town hall meetings or any community meetings, to go ask the right questions. And it has gotten to the point that person says, I feel like I'm an outsider in my own country, or that the future right now is so uncertain, I don't know. I was reached out by 2 persons in the UK, young persons who migrated over there and are looking to come back. And now what is on the forefront of their minds is what's happening in the region. And that was another concern as well for instability. And I will go into that a little bit of some of the things we should be considering, whether or not it's going to be an influx of migrants as well from other countries. But we'll pause that, because that's something for us to consider as well. And, these are some of the questions that, as I'm in my position, I can't answer, because it's almost on a step-by-step basis. We're seeing where the $107 million to top up this government for them to be able to continue operating our country until the 31st of December was passed in Parliament. That's one element, but it was only eight areas that were actually focused on. What about the other areas that persons are saying, well, the housing issue and access to affordable housing, how are we going to deal with banks? There's just so much things that is swirling around people's heads, and which is why they're feeling a bit detached from their own country. It's like they're saying they don't feel a part. How can you answer those questions when you're seeing what's happening with our youth? We're seeing what's happening with the young people around the world. We're seeing the height in escalated crimes and mental health issues and all that sort of stuff. Is it that we're taking on too much instead of just providing an outlet, speaking out? Or is there fair? These are things that will impact the well-being and quality of people's lives when you're actually in your own world, in your own bubble. You're impacted by environment, policy decisions, hardships, just like everybody else, but remaining silent and not having an outlet to voice your opinion, which is what we try to do here as we educate and inform and keep you up to date of the realities. Is it too much? Some will actually say it's just so much. I don't even want to turn on the TV anymore, because when I see what's happening around the world, and then I look here, I can barely put food on the table or to pay the utility bills. What's going to happen? And if you don't speak it out, so that our policymakers can actually hear exactly what you're going through and we do it together, then you can actually overwhelm yourself. So these are some of the things and why it's important for me to bring certain topics up here, hoping that the powers that be, will actually see and hear what's on your mind, how you feel. And, I often wonder when you hear some of these questions, pretty much what was one moment that you can really realize that you felt how fragile, possibly you can be or we can become, even here in our own country. And if you've ever had to fight for your right to stay or work or belong, what was that like even in a work environment? So it's not only Caymanians or foreigners that are impacted by immigration reform, going back to that subject, Caymanians as well. We're seeing the threat of AI. We're seeing the environment shifting where people are scaling back. And like I said, no one knows what's going to happen in the region. We have a caller. Good evening, caller. Welcome, and you're live.
Good evening, Sabrina. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. Had a good weekend?
Boy, I don't even want to get into that.
Okay. What's on your mind?
With all this tension between Venezuela and Trinidad, right? It feels like it feels like the Caribbean region could shift quickly.
Hey.
My question to you is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cayman's immigration system is built for work permits and rollover, not for a sudden surge of people fleeing unrest. If that day came, do you think that our leaders are prepared not just to protect Caymanian jobs and housing, but also to show compassion to our regional neighbors? Or are we too comfortable assuming these crises will never reach our shores?
Stop right there. The unfortunate incident that happened with Clifton Hunter High School, that's how prepared we are. Which is why it's concerning me. We have never and would have never, ever thought of something like this happening in the Caribbean. I mean, you're talking about an outright on possible war. And are we prepared? Which is why I'm saying, are we too comfortable? This is not to undermine our leaders, but are they, with everything that's happening now, and we understand the power of social media right now, it's not that people aren't talking about it. But what does leaders mean to you in times of tension? And are we seeing it? I mean, when you look at it, people are even scared to make their living out on the sea by going fishing because of what's happening right in our waters, right? And is this something that our leaders are talking about? Is there something that they have their hands on the pulse and they're meeting in silence and to avoid creating any panic, any fear? But you can't stop what people are seeing on social media and YouTube, and you're seeing it every flick you flick. So to say that that's a good question. I'm not aware that we even prepared for this, because if you looked at the Cuban migration here, can you imagine multiple countries doing that at one time? And there's military presence, outright industries for certain jurisdictions that is at risk for their utility grid, their agriculture, their water. People could just be fleeing from war. You understand? Are we ready for that? We are associate members of CARICOM. Would those jurisdictions then only go straight to other CARICOM countries? Or would we be a friendly neighbor and consider taking them on temporarily? When you see what happened with the civic centers, and do we have anywhere, first and foremost, to put these people should we receive a huge influx? Caller, no, we don't. We don't even have enough space for ourselves in the event of a hurricane or a natural disaster. Can you imagine putting that on top of what could actually become a situation in the Caribbean, that all of a sudden we're hit with an influx of people from other countries that we're not accustomed to their culture? These are the
Well,
questions, callers, that we really need to ask. And it's not for fair. It is true. They're sound questions.
well, let me play devil's advocate, right?
Mhm.
Honestly, I prefer to play the devil pro bono, but um,
You always have a way with words.
but I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying. We can't say everyone, but playing devil's advocate,
Mhm.
um, wouldn't ignoring our neighbors when we have the means, quote unquote, have the means to help undermines Cayman's values? I mean, preparedness and compassion aren't necessarily opposites, right? They're two sides of the same coin.
Mhm. Mhm. It would definitely put a different light on who we are, especially on rest like this. But we have to also know what we're able to take on. Is it a case where then we will say, just like how you deal with foster kids of our own kids, would some people be willing to take some of these families that have been displaced because of war? If we don't have it, I mean, this is where we need to be thinking. And then you're looking at some of the issues that we're currently facing right now in our own. We're trying to deal with with budgets. We're trying to make sure that we can fund social welfare of our own people. Could Cayman become a destination for fleeing migrants because of this unrest? Is that now something that they need to look at in this budget cycle as a reality? And then how can you budget for it if it's not something that we've really prepared for at this magnitude that it could become? If my memory serves me well, caller, I saw where Maduro had says that he was going to call Christmas early being October 1st. What does that mean? Because it's a happy time. What does it mean after October 1st? And for how long will they be celebrating an early Christmas for? And then we're seeing Trinidad. No, it's there. He's saying he's going to celebrate Christmas early. What does that mean, guys?
Yeah.
What does it mean? These are not conversations or statements that are not in the public's domain, yet we are here strategically located. And we realize the fear of even those in Trinidad. We have a lot of people here from Guyana. We have a lot of people who are amongst us here from Trinidad. You understand? So we can't play a blind eye that these people mentally, emotionally are not going to be impacted by it. And then you look at it, we're leaders. Are they then having a different conversation amongst themselves versus when they present to their people? Is it two different languages? Because what you're seeing is unrests and based on two different parties, but yet there's a bigger geopolitical warfare at hand. Are we missing it, caller? Are the people missing the bigger picture at play? Is it?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, my question to you is, right, I mean, couldn't we as a country have some sort of liaison framework between CARICOM and the UK?
We
That we have
do
some
as
sort of direct
associate,
line?
yeah, as associate members, we do. However, something of this magnitude, we don't only speak for ourselves. That's where the governor then steps in, and I guess this is where there will be extraordinary meetings of national security will be called or could be called, and then of course the budget up to when I left EMIT office. The governor herself does not have a budget line, so she would depend largely on the cabinet and more than likely Home Affairs. The regiment, it is now falls under the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service to have a specific funding that could actually, if we have to bring in special persons, now would this be a case that it would be paid or it's a part of the relationships that the UK have with the British Overseas Territories jurisdiction? Remember, we're not the only one. Bermuda is also there, but we're looking based on proximity to Jamaica, based on proximity to Haiti, to Puerto Rico, that is the US. We're looking at proximity to Belize, Brazil, Panama. So don't think that we're immune at all. And go ahead.
No, I'm listening to what you're saying. Couldn't we sign either agreements or memorandums of understanding with Jamaica PCI, BVI, Trinidad, so that if trouble spills over, we're not just standing alone?
I'm quite sure all of those MOUs and understanding would be in place, and dialogue in this case, because we're a British overseas jurisdiction, that would be at the forefront of the governor, of course, with the support of her cabinet. And just like how we can help our brothers and sisters in natural disasters, hurricanes, unrest. Remember, we have assisted in sending our Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and even members of a regiment to assist in cleanup. After Mass, there was an unrest with, I think, a prison that all these people had gotten out of a prison. I don't feel it would be any less or any different should anything like that go on. But here's the kicker. What if some of the jurisdictions that there is unrest and persons are fleeing from are not necessarily on the same side as the UK? Think about that. Remember, we are UK. Do we then automatically fall into this geopolitical storm, as you want to call it, because we are UK? Is it a case where, just for example, we understand Venezuela is not right now in the best light of the United States. Trinidad is now playing game with the United States. But what if it's Venezuelans that are fleeing here? Because Cayman has says we're going to support in combating narco-terrorism, whatever. Where does that put us? These are some of the...
It can put us at risk of being quote-unquote,
just because we are labeled as a BOTC, or just because we're labeled as the UK. Where do we stand on a national stage because we are not independent? And then where does, you're saying with Jamaica and all that, where do they stand? Are they pro-UK? Are they pro-US or somewhere else? What if they're in cahoots with other countries that are not aligned with the UK? These are some of the conversations and questions that are sound to ask, because then we live in here. We could just be doing it from the goodness of our hearts, but then these are the conversations that happens at the higher level that we don't understand on the ground level unless we engage in discussions like this that gives people food for thought.
I think I hear what you're saying. And you're right to talk about that, because I mean, we don't want to be seen as harboring, quote unquote.
It's human. It's human. Mm-hmm.
Right. I do think that Cayman, in the event of something like this, would have to walk a very fine line.
But we're not independent. We do exactly as we are told. So what are those marching orders? Right. What are those marching orders?
We can't pretend that we're separate from Britain's foreign policy.
Correct.
And if the UK is at odds with a country, we have to respect that. But at the same time, ordinary people fleeing hardship aren't political pawns. They're human beings. Mm-hmm. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there.
Yeah.
You could have like a temporary protection framework in that would help. I think it would let Cayman give short-term shelter and basic rights without making a political statement about the regime they're fleeing from. Mm-hmm. We'd still vet carefully for security, but it means we don't turn our back on people in need.
But caller, let's be honest. Look at the sheer size of the Cayman Islands. Our resources are finite. Our immigration system is already strained, and yet we pride ourselves on compassion, Caribbean unity. But are we really prepared? Because there's some key questions that came up in just you and I in our exchange that we don't even know where we stand with what's happening, because for some reason we're quiet about it.
I know it just sucks.
But we can all do our share, our part, like what we are doing right now. And Aliano, we're talking about the conversation just came up about the tensions between Trinidad and Venezuela, and where we actually are positioned here in the Cayman Islands. Should we receive an influx of migrants fleeing because of the unrest? And are we ready, be it legally, socially, or even emotionally? Because we're seeing its emotional toll, because we're just trying to deal with our own housekeeping. And now this is happening around the world, so or in the Caribbean. So caller, I was just answering a Facebook comment. But yeah,
Sure.
it is this is additional funding that we have to have. Remember what had happened. God forbid if this was to even happen, would they be processed to seem as even the Cubans that were allowed to roam freely? This is a total different type of game that, well, not even game, I should say. This is a total different type of migration that we're dealing with, because when you're hearing about power grids in Trinidad that's pretty much in a line of sight of Venezuela that they can just take out with just one shot, this is how deep their conversations are going. That is big. That is big. It's similar like when you're in Spot Bay on a calm day, you can see the cane fields in Cuba burning, right? It's even close. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cayman back east. You can see the smoke from the cane fields on a calm day. If you go up on Long Beach, you can see it. Certain parts of Spot Bay, you can see it. That is no different, and it may be even closer when you look at Venezuela in comparison to Trinidad. And you may say, well, she's going there, but what the heck? No, we're not immune from this humanitarian possibly crisis in our Caribbean that is known. Oh, only wars like that can happen on the other side of the world.
It doesn't affect us.
It's not going to affect us, but it's here.
That's Pollyanna thought. Yeah.
Exactly. We got another call in with you, so you can stay on. I just want to bring in that other caller. You can stay on though if you want. Good evening, caller. You're live. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Sabrina.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for discussing this. Yeah, I was noticing all the warships from the U.S. heading down south. So it's about to get nasty, it looks like. But yeah, we had Caymanians go to Isle of Pines. We've had them go to,
Hold on a second for me, Lisa. 1 second. I'm just getting breaking news that there's a fire scare at the hospital. That's the Cayman Brac. All patients, etc., are outside. So this is just breaking news. I will keep you up to speed with that. That there are reports of a fire scare at the hospital. Patients and staff are currently outside. I'll keep you up to date as this information comes in. Please continue.
Well, hopefully everybody will be okay and they'll get that sorted out. There's one breed of people that I know, civil servants, that definitely kept us going through some tough times. They're firemen, and I applaud them, take the hat off them, and I actually salute them. Going back to the subject, we do not play well with the Cubans, even though we have a lot of bloodline members that never came back here. And even though we have a lot of people in Honduras as well that our bloodline are hitting there, and family members, they didn't come back. Some of them are too old, some have died. We don't really play fair with a lot of those countries, but we are willing now to take other people here that we don't even know who they are, what they really are, whether they're coming out of prison, whether they're rapists, drug dealers, or whatever. I say no. We do the same thing. If we don't help our own, which may have bloodlines like in Cuba or in Honduras, we don't need anything else. But this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say exactly what was on the campaign trail. My people must come first. Our jobs are being taken away. Our homes are taken away with no compassion. We have a breed of Caymanians that are at the top. And when they look at other Caymanians that are coming in, some of the women feel jilted, or maybe they have a sexism against working with women, or is it that they're whatever cult they're in, they feel that we shouldn't help our own? Because that seems to be something that was either bought or played or sprayed in the air, that we just don't want to see and help a lot of us up anymore. So we're importing Africans. We're importing the Filipinos have a huge hole. We've got Jamaica. We've always had Jamaica because we were already underneath Jamaica, but they got a bigger hole than more of our people. And when they get in all of these nations, they look out for their own. So there's mama, grandma, grandchildren, grandfather. The Britishers did the same thing. And none of them are willing to help our own. Look at what our legal fraternity is. We have a law school that have been teaching our own kids to become lawyers. But yet in the workforce out there, it's being dominated by British Canadians, and they don't want a lot to do with our own people. They will not give scholarships. They will not help. You want to help those, this is my suggestion, you want to help those that may have to run and be asylum, then we better do a Quantico here. And then what we need to do, we see all these nonprofit organizations, we had $104 million that went through in 2024 to help. Let's get those people to take on the responsibility, not the Caymanians. My civil servants will not punish, because I will say it again, without our civil servants, there's not a country. And we will not understand that until we get something times twice of Hurricane Ivan, and then you will know who the people are to call. Sabrina, let me tell you something. We are in a dark phase in Cayman, and a lot of our Caymans are sitting back and believing that this is a new election and that things are not changing. I am begging my people to look at what is happening in the United Kingdom. I am begging my people to educate yourself on what Qatar is doing around the world. I am begging my people to see the people that are in charge. They are not white. They're not British. Not that Payback doesn't deserve to come back. In a way, for all of the raping around the world and all the pillaging around the world and taking what was not supposed to be done. But I am begging my people, all of those that believe only white is better, let me enlighten you. Moses, Abraham, although I don't know them, never met them, majority of those people were Black people. We are the ones that brought so much education to the world, and those books have been destroyed. That knowledge has been destroyed. It has been taken over by all of the white people who believe they are superior than us. And in the Caribbean, majority of us have come or derived from slaves and ancestors who were taken across from the Atlantic and everywhere else. But we have this prejudice against us that we have a little brown skin. We believe, oh, we're not Black. I beg to differ. Call Henry Gates. Let him do the blood work for you. Let him trace your bloodline, who does all the stuff for the movie stars, and then you will really know where you came from. We need to stop the prejudice. We have to be prepared. Yes, we can get refugees, but like I said, if it's going to come, let the private sector deal with it, or let some of our nonprofits deal with it.
No, but as a country, Lisa, with what's happening, and what if it was something happening here? What would be, something that we as Caymanians would expect our neighbors to help us? I mean, proximity matters.
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't help. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help. What I'm saying is the government cannot afford, with all the issues it's having now and everything that is coming online, for us to become guinea pigs. With the digital system, with our banks taking away our money, with our banks wanting to push us out of our homes when we don't do what they want. It's a total control system. And I'm begging my people to please read, study, go back and see what is happening, because it's coming.
Hold on one minute.
Can't get out of it.
Hold on one second.
I'm saying is,
Lisa, one second. The other caller that was on that I merged with you just wants to wrap up his thoughts, and then he will leave you. So just allow them. Just stay on.
Okay.
Caller?
Hi.
Yes, sorry. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I hear the concern that the other caller is saying, and, I agree with her. Caymanians must come first. Our jobs, housing, our well-being can't be ignored, but I just feel at the same time, we also have to remember that people fleeing danger are human beings, not just numbers. And I think that goes back to your wider point of why we need proper reform. That's why reform has to be more than just new laws on paper. We need surge capacity. We need extra trained staff. We need faster triage systems. And we need clear temporary protection rules. Otherwise, immigration officers will be asked to do the impossible. And both Caymanians and refugees will lose faith in the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not about choosing between Caymanians and refugees. It's about being prepared so that we don't have resentment on one side and suffering on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Cayman has always been a community built on helping neighbors, and I think we can put our people first and still show compassion. Anyway, I'll leave you guys there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Lisa, 1 minute. I just got a picture in from the BRAC. Just to let you know that right now we've gotten reports that there is a fire scare at the hospital and all patients and staff are currently outside. I will bring you more images as I have, as this more information comes in regards to this. So I hope everyone there will be safe. This is just coming in. It's a developing story. This is a picture of outside of the fire truck. You can see the fire truck there, that there is a fire scare at the Faith Hospital in Cayman BRAC. We have no information, so this information is coming in as we speak. Go ahead for me, Miss Lisa. Continue. Thank you for your patience.
I quite agree with your caller that we can always show compassion. That is exactly who we are. But let's just take a look back at that.
Mm-hmm.
When we arrive at our airport, what language and what dialect we hear? Let me make you hear one, because I was married to a couple of them, but let me just state ya. Awagwan.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Okay. Not hello. Welcome to the Cayman Islands. We go customs and we go into everywhere. We are the minority. Okay, so this is my ending to the young man that just finished to say that we should have compassion, because we've had compassion. We've opened our doors and we've let them in, and many at the top, our own, and many others have forgotten about us. That's why we're in the trouble we're in now. All I'm saying is it's time to do a reset before all the billionaires destroy everybody by 2030. It's a reset.
What happened to 2030?
To put our people first.
What happened in 2030? To do our training.
Oh, it's a long list. I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
But put it this way. I want to see that every young Caymanian that want to get a home, that all of those people that have land and are starting to open up to sell, let's make sure that we get it. Our government don't even have a bank that we can actually invest in stocks and bonds. Let me tell you what else. CUC, with my father and many others that went to sea, they were the ones that had many of the stocks. They were encouraged to sell them, or because of something or the other they went away and sell them. Now, we are suffering for that because we're no longer in charge. The ones that get the big guys, politicians that have been there, have big shares in it.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that it should be a fair and equal chance. If it was me running this country, every school, every mutual fund, every trust, every investment firm will be going into my schools to teach my children how to invest. Okay? So that we may be able to have something to rely on. Every company want to do construction here. What Jim Button put in place, that 5% to make sure it goes back into our emergency revenue, they must pay it.
Mm-hmm.
There will be no more concessions. If you don't like it, then leave. And the bottom line is we need to have our people well trained.
Mm-hmm.
We will not listen to what I'm saying now, and many others that may come on. But I give you another 2 years. The Lands and Survey Department, our monetary authority, and all the Caymanians that are pushing us and saying, we don't want to help none of our Caymanians anymore. I want this one from Barbados, and I want this one from Jerusalem, and I want this one from Nigeria, and I want this one. They're going to bring sister, brother, aunt, cousin, friend, and everybody. And sooner or later, every Caymanian will be without a job. And those families are going to hurt. And guess what? The same politicians that have allowed it, or officials that have allowed it happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to get out. The ones that they gave, all of these foreign nationals they gave permanent residence in Cayman status still, they're going to be the ones that come in. And when they come in, they're going to look out for their nationality. They're going to look out for their children. They're going to look out for their companies. And you know who is going to be on the line? We can stop it, and we can stop it now. We have time. And I'm telling my people again, rise up and demand meetings from our young government to keep you abreast of the truth and nothing but the truth. Hold them accountable. Hold them accountable with a vote of no confidence if they're not going to do it. Let us walk together as sisters and brothers. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care. So long you stand with me and fight for my country and your children and grandchildren. I have none. I lost mine. I am willing to fight for my country. I'm willing to stand with those that put us first. I am willing to open my door to give food, water, and direction to any nation. We have done it before. But when it comes that we are now the minority and we are now already heavenly burdened, I say no. That's what I say. I say no. Go to other countries that are bigger and that may be able to help. Not the Cayman Islands.
A commenter,
and
Lisa.
Take the burden off of our government.
A commenter is asking that you be given a kaboom.
Yeah, that is my 2 cents. And thank you again, Sabrina, for helping to enlighten the people, because a lot of us don't even understand what has happened and what's about to happen and what is all these things are being planned for us.
Well, you see, it's funny that you said. It's funny that you said it ties into your conversation. One of the subheadings that I wanted to engage in a discussion with this evening is leadership. Is leadership and mixed, or is there messaging mixed or no messages at all? Which is why some of their diplomacy, while the community is almost in silent chaos, you're bringing it up here. And I'm quite sure not everybody would appreciate the fact that we're actually engaging this, because they're saying, what the heck are we who cares about what happens in Venezuela? Who cares about what happened in Trinidad? We should care. We should care.
Okay. What I want to tell those, you know what I want to tell those people right now? Those same ones that are going to come after you and I. Make a trip and ask our Honorable Deputy Governor to give you a tour to all of the departments in the glass house and count the Caymanians you see in every department. Go through everyone. Everyone in the government departments. Go through it and see what we're already facing. And if you don't have the sense then to wake up and realize what is already happening.
But Lisa, then that begs the question. Are they saying one thing amongst themselves at the highest tier and saying something else to the community? Is it a strategy? Is it secrecy? Or is it a failure to communicate?
It's always strategy. And at the end of the day, it's always about money. Sabrina, it's always a strategy to play like we're doing what we said we were going to do. But there's always the second side, because money is always at the top.
Well, in this particular case, with geopolitics so topical. With geopolitics.
They can never fool me.
Lisa.
They can never fool me.
With geopolitics
money
so topical.
And greed is at the top.
But with geopolitics so topical, do you feel informed, or are we left in the dark? We
are in the dark. That's what I just said. And I asked my people to demand. At a funeral this weekend, I had so many people come to me and say, we don't know what's going on. We're reading things and we're seeing things, and look at the mess England is in. And we got children over there. I said, well, I hope that my Minister of Education wrote letters and made sure that each one of our children, especially the young women who are British and getting raped left and center in the United Kingdom, and nothing is being done about it because of the nationality running there. I would hope that they have point A to go to if something happens, and who to call for point B, not just their family members. I would hope that we are looking in and making sure that we have all of these things in place. Because I am worried about my children. I have a niece over there that is a doctor and treated to be a doctor. And she's on her third or fourth or fifth year. And I'm saying to myself, I worry about her. Her sister just finished a year ago, but I'm worrying about her. And I'm worried about all the others that just left. What I'm seeing in London. Listen, that's not being hid anymore. That's all over national news. America, everywhere, it's all over national news what's going on in the United Kingdom.
But for those who are not in tune because they're not living there, I'm hearing a sense of panic. I'm hearing a sense of fear. Can you consolidate, be as concise as possible, what is happening? We are knowing the migrants from Africa. We're hearing the disparity. We're hearing even some prejudice that are coming in play.
All of that is there. All of that is happening. But also we see where the British House of Parliament, we have British MPs barking up and calling out the system because young girls are being raped. It's televised. And these are young British girls because they're not part of a certain religion, as they speak, or quote unquote speak. So I am saying, I want to make sure that my girls that left this country, the Cayman Islands, are okay and they know where to go to and who to turn to, because that needs to be done. If you all don't do that, let us call for meetings in each district to address all of the issues that we have at hand. Housing, the children abroad, what is coming with the digital ID, and really where this system all comes from, because I want the pyramid to be shown. The total control pyramid that started way, way, way back. Who decided that we should now go back into the same rat hole and cages after we've worked hard
for freedom,
and to take away everything for us? Everything.
But what would you say? What would you say to those people who are saying, "Look, this is the way we're going"? How
And I say that change comes.
Both sides need to be.
Change comes. Well, let me tell you what I say. Let me tell you what I say to the politicians that I think they're weak. If you're weak, step aside. Let a woman come and do the job. I'm willing to do it. Give me a chance. And many others, women that will do it because men are weak.
But what would you say to
That's
those?
That's what I'm saying to the other side. And what I say to the other side, which is my people, I said, let us get informed. Demand meetings so that we may be well informed. Not one meeting. Let us have a meeting in every district and call it so that we will understand where we are heading.
But for those who are not that in tune, Lisa, they may say you're a conspiracy theorist.
No, but they can say anything they want to say.
I'm just saying.
BBC. I watch the BBC World News. Okay, and this is one person that started in the 80s. I know where the pyramid starts, and I know where it falls, because, like I said, I had family members that joined the pyramid. So you're not playing with a conspiracy theorist.
What's a pyramid for those who want to keep up with the conversation? I don't know what pyramid you're talking about.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to go in. That's a topic for a different day.
All right.
I'm just telling my people to watch the BBC World News. Watch what's happening there. Watch all of the talk shows that is happening. And the members of parliament right there calling out different things. And ask where Cayman is going with it.
Well,
because we already hear that we call the police when we have elderly being hurt and nothing is said. They're being told that there's not. We've got kids still going into school, or people past or present going in with guns. We have people that we're finding out in our schools that are going after people and raping them, young children still raping them. Listen, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. It's a lot of cleanup. That's why I've always said when you become and you're going into the House of Parliament, you have a minister to run it. But I do believe that you need to have a crew under the ministry that helps to clean up some of these things in the community and back to the ministry and the chief officer and the deputy governor so that matters can actually be resolved. But they refuse to do it. Some say district councils. No, I don't want district councils. I want people that are civil servants that have the authority of law and people like lawyers that we could use to say, look, this is what the law says when we go and we're addressing some of these issues. Let me give you an example. Mr. J is in charge of planning and housing and whatever. I say, give each ministry their own amount for them to do their own housing in each district. Because at the end of the day, Mr. J might get everything done. He might only get North Side done. Okay? West Bay also needs to be done. What about Georgetown? We are one of the biggest district and the capital. We've had a bunch of homes, a few homes in Windsor Park. That is it that we've had for Georgetown. For God's sake. We are the biggest, and we all, even roads, hardly fixed. Come on, Sabrina. What will tell the truth? Let us ask them to show us their bank accounts. Let us ask them to show how many pieces of land. Let us ask them to show how many condos they have with all the concessions. Then and only then. Because let me tell you, whatever you acquired, that belongs to the people, not just you and your family. It belongs to the people because you worked for the people. And until we're, like I said, until we're willing to change.
Caller? You go back to where you were because we lost you there. Until we begin to change is where we lost you.
Constitution needs reform, strong change. Okay? So that when we see all of these people getting this and that and this and that, we will know. Because let me tell you something. If we go back and we research lands and survey from the 80s, then the 90s, then the 20s, you will see who owned land, who got the chance to buy land and to take land. You will see also how many condos people own, or how many parcels of land people own, or whatever else that comes around when the election is that is allegedly done, or allegedly bought, or allegedly given. I say, by law and constitution, you need to declare it. Anything in your 4.5 years or 5 years or whatever, how long it's going to be, you need to declare it to our people so that our people can see what you...
But you declare it every year.
No, that's what I'm saying. You have to show it all. I mean all.
Well...
Publish the bank account, publish the land survey register, the land registers, publish everything.
What
Don't
you're
go with people and say, I pour and play in people's face and say, I don't have this, I don't have that, but yet you got this, you got that, you got that. No.
I guess what I'm trying to get from you is that they're declaring, but they're not declaring honestly.
Well, that's what I just said, baby. Put it in the Constitution where there's no ins and outs about it. You must do it so that your people can see with their eyes and know for sure what you have. Because remember, you promised a lot of things on that election trail, and a majority of those things are not delivered. For 4 years and 4.5 years and 4.5 years and 4.5 years. Look at, we don't have police stations throughout our districts that should be in order and be able to run. Each police department should have satellites and radios and should have their own marine teams to go and every part of the island to catch whatever may be coming in here that's not supposed to be coming in here. That's one example I'm giving you. Okay? We have so many of our complaints that people are not listening to. There is sexual assault. There is bullying. There is political overreach, doing what you feel like you can do, and doing anything you can do to people's children and don't think you can be held accountable for it. Defamations of character, framing people. These are the kind of things that people kill for worldwide. Okay? We need to change our constitution to make sure we are having a clearer picture and more integrity and honesty. That is what I'm saying.
But say from a petition or referendum called by the people, it takes political will, caller. And if it is not a priority, constitutional
because
change.
You know what? We are sitting back believing that this Cayman that we're in now is the Cayman in the 1970s and the 1980s. Not realizing that we're on fire. We're on fire. We're on fire, and they don't even realize it. We're on fire,
right?
And we're in danger. But Sabrina, on a pleasant note, I want to say I would love my people to just get more involved. I want them to educate themselves and understand exactly what's happening. I want them to also fight and tell our governor and our deputy governor that we need to see more Caymanians in jobs, and those that are the bullies at the top, remove them. Remove them.
Now, this is bullies from the operational arm, aka the civil servants or the leaders.
Civil service, and listen, no politician has the right to come in there and make people's lives difficult. They can move around one or two people, yes, if they want to, because if they're working right in the middle of it. But when they do it, our governor and our deputy governor would say, look, I have children, which is what he does. He has 2 children. And just like I want people to respect them, I want people to respect other people's children. Because like I said it before, when you're disrespecting people's children, you are disrespecting their lineage, their mothers, their fathers. Okay? And that should not be. And we've had so many complaints of this, but yet it has never been handled the right way. Never. And we keep barking for it. And I'm saying to the civil servants, only unless you all stand together in unity will change come. If not, sooner or later, all of the Caymanians will be through the door, and every other nationality will be sitting where they were sitting. And then they're gonna make a big mess. And then hold on, they're gonna believe that a person who comes and tells them every 4 years, we can do this, we can do that. Don't they understand what lip service is? Do they understand what false promises are? Do they understand that women, when they flee from all of the slaves of slavery that happened back in the day, most of those people that were ruling were queens. Women that were queens, and they were black, not white. They were black queens who held their countries together, their teams together, and made sure that people ate, made sure that medicine came to them. It didn't all go to this one and that one. It made sure that everybody was looked after. And until the Cayman Islands and the Caribbean understand that on a whole, we are always going to, Cayman is going to always be left behind, because we've got so many of us that is kind of half beige skin or little fairer skin, and they believe they're white when they really are black. And until we understand really what is going on and they still wake up, it's going to be a sad day for our people. We are on fire, Cayman. Understand what I'm saying to you. Politicians will tell you what they think you would like to know. And here, you must do your own research. You must understand how everything works. I'll give you another example. We have R.F. Kennedy, and the Kennedys have faced dramatic tragedies throughout the years. And one of them that are left have been fighting. Is he perfect? No. But he's the first one that I see, and with the action that he has taken to fight to ensure that the food, the cereals that Kellogg's produce, the coloring, the food that is being poisoned with injections, and everything else. This man is fighting every day to uncover, unravel, and let people know. He's there in part, listen to all his messages on the floor. You will see others that have been, a young woman too, another young lady who took on Kellogg's and said, look, we import everything in this.
We're losing
and health.
Right.
Okay. These people get paid many salaries. Are they under bondage not to ensure that we are getting everything and it is healthy? Produce, I understand from everything that I have read, nothing is really organic because it's shipped from here to there. But if you want to get the closest to organic, you have to buy the fruit, vegetable should be in 9. We get 3 and 4s. 3 and 4s, and many other products. Who is the watchdog that's making sure that the cancer does not continue to spread, that everything that we're eating is really true and clean for us? Who is the watchdog? I want to know, because I know that we should, and we should be making sure that we're okay. Haven't our country not seen enough of cancer raging like the waters out in the ocean?
We can't get a finger on the pulse because some people don't want a cancer registry because they feel that's in breach of their confidentiality. And
as long as those young people continue to stay silent and don't start taking up for their grandmother, grandfather, brother, sister, and mommy and daddy that is at the workplace, we're in trouble.
I'm going to ask you to wrap up with me, my love, because yeah.
All right. All the best.
Thank you, Lisa.
So much.
Take care. You're in tune to Sabrina Speaks. Yes, it has been a very engaging conversation. That was Lisa that was speaking. A lot of you were asking if it was Miss Sarah. No, it was not. She pretty much had a lot to say. And you may have heard me asking about what's the big 2030. And you would see one of my commenters for saying hashtag 2030. And that is the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 that is put on by, what they want to reach for the planet to end. And the 17 goals are no poverty. Second goal is zero hunger. Third, good health and well-being. Fourth, quality education. Fifth, gender equality. 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth, which would shows an incline. 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduce inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water, which is where our marine comes in. 15, life on land as well. And 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. And 17, partnerships for the goals. Now, there are on each goal, you can go in and you can read more as to how that is going to be achieved. These are set out on there. And if you go Google and you hashtag 2030, it will tell you all of that. And it goes from one thing onto the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. It breaks it down and it goes into the sustainable development for what the world, the adaptation of transforming our world by 2030. And they're both sides on this, saying it's a way of controlling the way we live, who will not, what you would have access to based on what you subscribe to. Some persons are actually calling it the mark of the beast. And this initiative was adapted from in 2015 by the United Nations with a set of these 17 sustainable development goals to be achieved by the year 2030. Again, this space is to educate. A lot of people, when they saw the little emblem that looks like a round circle with colors, they thought that it was for the LGBT community. No, each color represent the 17 goals, and each color is unique for what that is. Now, these are the questions with sustainable development. Their aim is to provide a global blueprint for ending, as we said, poverty in all 17s and protecting the planet and ensuring well-being for all by integrating economic, social, and environmental progress, with the year 2030 serving as a deadline for action. Now, deadline for action, what does that mean? Is this and will this, what role does the Cayman Islands play in this? Is this why we have a Ministry of Sustainable Development? And another significant mention is Saudi's vision for 2030, that's Saudi Arabia, a program to diversify the Saudi economy and society. Now, we can go into this as a total different subject. I know some of you are waiting for this as an outlet because you will all have your view on it. And this is why the importance of having the conversation as well in regards to the digital ID is rather topical. Now, like I said, I don't mind bringing up the topics, but I need your participation. And it would be good to have both sides of this. Is this a way of the one world order? We're seeing where some of our very own regional jurisdictions are doing business with Saudi Arabia. We're seeing it. That's a total different show. I can break it down. Again, where does the Cayman Islands stand? Where does the UK stand on this? We've heard our king. He's big into sustainable. He has a huge thing for marine and conservation and just being smart and being aware of we only have one planet. It would be interesting to actually get that out there as a national blueprint. What do you want, Cayman? Do you want us to be a part of this? Are we going to be left out? Will that be the diversion where the people of the Cayman Islands says we don't want no part of that because we don't want to be controlled. We don't want this. We don't want that. Who put this down that we have to adhere to 2030? Well, if the UK is on board and we're still a British overseas jurisdiction, then guess what? I don't think we got a choice. The real Michelle Teresa, spot on caller, on fire for sure. Judges paid by bankers to steal trust funds. Some run away to London, but it's too late. Some mothers going to jail. And we have Denny, a rat trap offers free cheese, right? You will own nothing and will be happy. Hashtag 2030. And Denny, thank you, because I pulled it up as Miss Lisa was speaking. I wasn't being rude because you can see I was listening to her. I was able to tell her where I lost her and everything. But again, these are some of the topics that, yeah, some people may be fearful of having, or are we sending the wrong message? It is here for everyone to actually see and educate themselves. And, even though people may say the year 2030 is a target date for achieving these ambitious goals worldwide, where does the Cayman Islands in the scope of things be considered in that definition of worldwide? Are they going to just, as a BOTC, a small island development state, would our independent voices as the Cayman Islands voices, which we're represented by Her Excellency the Governor, aka our leaders that are our mouthpieces in Cabinet Caucus, representation there, Minister for Home Affairs, Foreign Affairs, all of that sort of stuff. Where do we fit in? Does your individual collective voice matter in this case? Are we on board with this 2030 deadline? Do the individuals of the Cayman Islands stand a chance for their voice to actually be heard? And pretty much the year 2030, simple meaning, is exactly what it is. And this vision, you heard me say about the Saudi Vision 2030, all thanks to AI, of course. Thank God for that. A government-led program launched by Saudi Arabia to achieve economic diversification and broader societal development. That's what their vision is, and their goal is the vision aims to reduce the country's reliance on oil, expand its economy, and foster social and cultural changes. Now, that's their vision. So I implore you to educate yourself, Go and research some of this stuff. And I don't have a problem bringing it up here in a more layman context, but you can see how big this is. I was presented with some of this back in the day, but you expect, if this is going to be a national discussion, you don't want to make it seem as though some of us are speaking in code and others are getting it and some are not. I think it is the responsibility of the people to ask of these questions of their leaders. Maybe you may hear it here this evening and say, well, what's Sabrina talking about? What Miss Lisa was referring about, what Danny's talking about 2030. Yeah, I hear all about the sustainability, but I thought it was just making sure we can get to electric cars. I thought it was all about the regen project and all that sort of stuff. This is a worldwide thing. Maybe this conversation, this discussion today, how do you connect the dots? Read up on it. And this is a worldwide initiative. Is this on our way to one currency? Will the big countries have the power over each one's quality of life? The way we look at cash, liquid, versus how we deal with digital cryptocurrency, is that going to take a different identity come 2030? Is your country, because I know this is being listened to by persons from all around the world and in the region, if you're hearing your country's doing lots of work and maybe got loans from Saudi Arabia, where does that put your country? Are you a CARICOM member, full member, or partial? Where does that put you? Where does your future lie? Is all that's happening in the Caribbean right now linked to, in preparation for this, that people are trying to put their stakes down? This land is my land, whatever. This is where sovereignty comes in, and people's way of life, their quality of life, their rights, human rights. These, you're going to hear more and more of these conversations coming up. And it may be some persons who educate themselves a little bit more, who's more in tune, who do deep dives, that may get it a little quicker. And then when it's actually something balloons, then guess what? Then you're left with, what are they talking about? Why are they sounding so angry? And some people right now, no matter what side of this topic you're on, because you'll have those who are for, you'll have those who are against, and then you'll definitely have those who will always be those that are coming in the back, that it's like, look, I've struggled all my life. I don't care. If good comes, I'm going to get it. If bad comes, I'm going to get it. And then you have them where, okay, well, if they're saying I'm going to have to get a digital ID to license my car, well, I got to do it. I got to drive. Some may have that. And then some may stand up and says, no, I shouldn't be mandated to get a digital ID to go to the bank, to go and license my car, to be able to write, to vote, the right to vote, because this is a democratic society. We don't know. We honestly don't know. So again, when this topic comes up, I can only produce to you what's already in the public's domain, which is a bit fragmented at this stage. And this is why it's imperative for our leaders or policymakers to get ahead of this conversation. We see what's happening with the rollout of this in Barbados. They have legislation for their national ID that says one thing, but then you're hearing their leaders saying something else. And the people are saying, well, this is the law. And the leader is saying, but no, that's not what it is. So we don't want to be caught in that trap. And we want to be transparent from the get-go. What does it mean? How does that tie into this 2030, hashtag 2030? How does that tie into the big picture? And this is why I welcome the comments. I don't want it all from, oh, I'm against it, oh, I'm for it. I want us to just have open conversation and to just look at it. But I am imploring my leaders. You may say, oh God, why she bring up this conversation? We're trying to get over budget. Oh, we're trying to get over immigration reform. Oh, we're trying to get down the cost of living. Now they're talking about housing and da-da-da-da-da. But look, time waits on no man. Time waits on no man. And this is why, as Lisa alluded to, ministers can be ministers, but then you have your people to do other jobs. And if it even means to have a spokesperson for each ministry to go out and see and get a temperature of the pulse of what's happening in the community, and they can speak in one voice to calm, to say, yes, we know this is an action item, give strategic timelines, because 2030 is not that far away. You see how fast 4 years are going. 2030 is not that far away. But in between 2025, let's say today, how old were you when you realized that all of this thing is going to happen and there's a worldwide deadline to be in compliance by 2030? If today was the day that you really saw that 2030 deadline for the first time, okay, fine. From now to then, how much talks have we, the Cayman Islands, had about it at a national level? Will you now start asking the right question? Does that tie into where we're going with this national ID? Is there going to be a separate piece of legislation that governs this national ID? Is there going to be clear questions and answers that's going to be put forward to the public to engage in public discussion? You're seeing what's happening in our banks right now, that they're lessening hours from tellers. They're more encouraging you to do and transact your business at an ATM. Is this small little layers of eventually where it's automation is one thing, but is it that way of phasing out from day-to-day cash? Hence the reason of cryptocurrency and digitizing everything. Danny, did digital ID help Germany address illegal immigration? No, but was that before its time, Danny? Now that you're getting pretty much the entire world that's preparing for this, all of these jurisdictions that buys in to the United Nations goal of reaching 2030, sometimes the conversations you have is just too early. Maybe Germany had some foresight into it and it just wasn't working. Did Bojangles work for Cayman? No. Did Taco Bell work for Cayman? No. Did Olive Gardens work for Cayman? No. I bet you if you bring some of those change back today, they will. Sometimes we're just not ready for the real conversations. Like, it's before your time. Like many times, Denny, I'd be honest with you, you have very insightful conversations. You bring up thought-provoking discussions. But if you're not up to speed with you, you can lose exactly your message. So it may not have worked for Germany at that time, but maybe if now, because access to digital, this whole networking with the power of podcasts, you see where even though we're separated by thousands of miles, water separates us, we're still so connected, even by WhatsApp, based on time zone. It doesn't matter. I have people in Australia that is tuning into these shows. Nothing separates us now when it comes to dialogue and connectivity and having the discussions. I'm quite sure that can happen. Pandemic taught us that we can be unified. We've had full-blown conferences from the comforts of your home, and you can reach the masses. And so I'm thinking that maybe I can look into that more. It didn't work for Germany because they were probably just too early. But look at where we're headed now for 2030. Is that the only benchmark that you're going to use to say that it will not work for Cayman now? I feel we need to really look at the bigger picture, Danny, and see exactly where we are actually in the pecking order as a jurisdiction, because we can't be speaking independent and we're not independent. And that's where keeping your hand on the pulse of the people of the Cayman Islands is imperative with any style of leadership and the way we are governed. Because, like I said, are our leaders, are their leadership mixed? Is there a message or no message at all? Is the silence diplomacy? Is it strategy, or just don't know? I mean, it's almost as though we can get stuff so quick, information. We have access to so much information so quickly that while they're working on one policy and thinking now they're doing all the background checks, oh my gosh, now all of this is happening in the Caribbean Sea. Oh, now we need to look at this. Oh, we need to. It's just like there's a lot coming in at one same time. We got a caller. Good evening, caller. You're live. What's on your mind?
Good evening, ma'am. I don't have much to say because when you get up and speak out and whatever, some people get offended because it must be, like you say, who the cat fit, wear it, or they must be guilty of conscience, need not accuser. So when you say things, they get up in their feelings and whatever. So and say that you're meaning it to them, whatever. But I said, do plan these people. 2030 is almost 5 years away. You know, they think that many of us can be wrong by that time, about 2030. Well, like I said, I come from long span, but I don't know if I could be wrong. That long, they think we're gonna be here till 2030 to see planet.
We call it we're the end of 25. So you got the entire year 26, 27, 28, 29. Yeah, so then, 5 years.
They say what will happen in a day, a minute, happen in a second.
Correct.
Look at this. I want send condolences, which I call her my friend Dora. She was feeling a pain in her chest in Honduras for cyber, right? Saturday, a 45-year-old, brilliant, young, strapping girl. I can send you a picture. She went to the doctor, and then I was getting her nothing. She was getting a heart attack, and she was buried after 2 this evening. Oh. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Oh, my.
When I called her mother last night, she was bawling because she used to call her Migorza, and she was named Vanessa. Beautiful girl. I think it's a 13 or 11-year-old daughter that she left.
Oh, my.
And I mean, I tell her, I said, let's just I don't know that was a heart attack. I said, all you have to do was get 3 aspirins, because the nurse tell me that you have to chew them. Don't drink them with water. Chew them up and swallow them. And then just take, but you know, tell me they couldn't see that she must be on the verge of getting a heart attack. What kind of doctors they are? Through negligence, I call it, the girl is dead. I watched pictures with her funeral this afternoon that somebody sent to me. And just Wednesday, somebody come up from there and she met them at the airport when they land, and she was there to see them off. They can't believe it. They were tearing their head off when they called me last night because all of us. This her mother used to be my hairdresser. She's the one that used to do my hair that went Churchill from funeral home used to tell me. He said, Lord, your hair is beautiful. He said, whoever do your hair, he said they got hands for your hair. I can't believe that.
My sincere condolences to that.
But this is what family. Who knows these things? But then this is what I tell you. When you get on and you speak up and you speak out, people get offended, and then they drop the conclusion, and then bash you and do things. So you know the situation with me. So this is what I tell you. Sometimes that's why people don't want to say nothing. People keep quiet. It's better because you don't know when you. Like my mother said, if you do, you're damn, and if you don't, you're damn. So of course you speak up. People get out in the feeling and jump the conclusion that you're talking to them and this and that. So I don't know what to do.
I think when people do call in public forums like this, if they can be clear and concise, then there would be no misunderstanding.
Well, this is it. But you see, brother, I never called no name, and you know what happened with me? They threw me under the bus with my daughter. You see, I never called nobody name, but that's what I was speaking out about things that Lisa was speaking to. I mean that, you know, things that you see happening and whatever. And then people just jump up in their feelings and what I call it and stuff. So this is what they
Well, let's hope you get that resolved and clear the air there.
Well, I'm not getting nothing resolved because they not answer me, and I soon take them off my thing because I say I know them. I know what I know. They not all there, but anyway, I leave it. And if I even see them in the street to me, I'm going to do like pass them like how Christ passed Pharaoh because they didn't know who they're messing with. So anyway.
Okay.
And if I wasn't stupid, like I say, God none the lot, but I could have got thousands yesterday. But just didn't want to do it.
I'll talk to you off air on that one. It's illegal.
I don't care. Police buying it and judge used to buy it, and I got buy it till when they want to arrest me and do arrest. I got soon get it. It's soon coming. I got soon get that 20,000 or 10,000. I need you to worry about that, and I don't need them. They can kiss my finesse PRV.
Okay. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for being very candid. Aliano, I feel AI should help in the basic tracking and management of knowing who is who. This mark of the beast takes talk rolled my eye, and no, I'm not calling anyone out. A digital database for government and law enforcement would be a start. Look at the pandemic when people were stuck here getting money from government and people in the tourism not getting any stipend. That's one issue in a long list of issues. Yes, there is a number of things, Aliano, but at the end of the day, if you're looking at going back to what we were talking about, the 2030 and the sustainability, according to what is envisioned, is that, you know, everybody would be living a better quality of life because there will be no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. And, you know, we're all about preventative health here and quality education as well. So it's one of those things. Cleaner water and sanitation. Thank God we have infrastructure here but that's not the same for our brothers and sisters in the region and so many other countries around the world. We're grappling with gender equality here to a degree. We're hearing it spoken out by so many. And that could be a culture thing as well. What will be put in place in regards to that? Achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls is not just the right thing to do, it's essential for sustainable development. And goal 5, focusing on closing the gender gap and ensuring equal opportunities for all. And this is now, when you're looking at how much progress have we made is the question. And that is significant progress in advancing women's rights has been recorded globally with 99 positive legal reforms implemented between 2019 and 2024 to remove discriminatory laws and establish gender equality framework, international commitments to advance gender equality and have brought about improvements in the same areas like child marriage and female genital manipulation have declined since this has been out in recent years, and women's representation in political arena is higher than ever before. But the promise of the world in which every woman and girl enjoys full gender equality and where all legal, social, and economic barriers to their empowerment have been removed remains unfulfilled. So again, this is just a snippet of what's under gender equality, and we're seeing our own speaking out about it here. Those are some of the things of the 17 goals that they want to reach. And that was just a snippet of gender equality that we were talking about. And how are we aligned with this as the jurisdiction of the Cayman Islands, and where do we go? So all of these things we're seeing playing out in real time. You may think because we're just a little dot here in the Caribbean that we are not being considered. It's persons like Denny's, person like Lisa, it's forums such like this that we can bring it up. And a good host really has to give both sides the audience. That is honestly my job. It's to bring these thought-provoking subjects forward, do my own research. My opinion, in this case, out of respect for this forum, does not matter, because I want to bring fair and balanced dialogue. And this is why it's important for me to have persons who are in many cases versed or who are very vocal on a lot of these points to come here, because it's not what Sabrina says. Even though the show may say Sabrina Speaks, I know my role in this role. And no one can't say that I don't come prepared. And if I am not so comfortable in bringing up a discussion, it's not that I'm fearful, of bringing up a topic. It's not that I'm fearful of the topic. It's because I haven't yet been comfortable enough of understanding it, seeing it from all sides in order to be able to host. And where it comes a little bit more challenging is when the topics is so pressing that it has to be brought up based on your request, and I'm unable to secure a guest. And we're seeing more and more, for whatever reason, that persons, maybe it's the size of our island, that they are either conflicted in some way because of representation, either clients or they're possibly on a council or something like that, that they cannot appear on forums like this because you don't want it to seem a bit biased or a conflict of interest in any way. So our pool here is very, very shallow. And this is why I aim to make sure that I educate myself so that when I come here and I bring topics of importance. Food for thought, that it is sound and it is unbiased and it's based on what information is already out there in the public's domain. So I want to thank you for your participation. I want to thank you for your suggestion in topics, and I will do my best to air and ventilate these out here. But you are the bloodline. You are the heartbeat of this space, because unless you actually participate, then I feel like I'm speaking to myself. And I know I'm not, because of the feedback that I have been getting. But what makes it even more impactful and more fulfilling is when you do it in real time. Aliano, I hear all of the selling points of this 2030 initiative, but let's be real here. A society free of corporate oppression is a pipe dream. Keep them poor and always needing so you can sell them hope for $1 million. Scary to sound cynical. No, it's not. Aliano, you're entitled to your opinion. And this is why I said, if this is the trajectory of the world for 2030, based on the United Nations, some of the thought-provoking questions that needs to be asked is, where does the UK sit on this? You notice I didn't say the Cayman Islands. Where does the UK sit in this? Because we are a overseas jurisdiction. Aside from that, if by the populace, the entire Cayman Islands is totally not for meeting these criterias or trying to put systems in place to adequately do our part as a jurisdiction by this deadline, then are we independent? Is that a topic that we want to embark on? Is that something that we want to consider? Those are the thought-provoking questions that one needs to ask, because I know that sometimes people are saying, well, it doesn't matter. My voice doesn't matter. I don't want us to go to digital ID. I want to have choice. I want to be able to walk into the bank, and I still want to have and feel cash. These are some of the, and I'm just merely scratching the surface. And if you want to go really, really extreme, would it then some people are saying in discussions, well, if I don't fall in line, they could bar me from getting electricity, bar me from getting water. Where's democracy there? Because I choose, I don't want to be a part of this. These are the discussions that we need to have. These are the thought-provoking conversations that should be had around a domino table. Even though that's an outlet for X to just breathe and just unwind. But these are some of the thought-provoking questions that you need to ask of your leaders, of your representatives. And how do we play into that? Where do we then fit into this whole sphere when it comes to all of our legislation modernization? Where do we fit into this whole sphere when it comes to sustaining our food supplies? Who are we going to do business with for sustainable succession? And these are some of the things that we really need to take into consideration. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Miss Sabrina. I trust you're well. And
I'm thankful, caller.
It's been, me too. It's been a good day, so I'm grateful too. My 2 cents is I know the election is over.
Mm-hmm.
I know the government formed and the government has a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always said from the beginning, when I became of age to vote,
Mm-hmm.
that a government is no good to the people
Mm-hmm.
unless it comes to the people.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is we need to start having district meetings now. I think the election hula hoopla has calmed itself down to what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a government, regardless of what or who or what we think of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is there, and I hope it stays in place. Like I've said before, I hope that the hands that meddle do not meddle.
Mm-hmm.
But a government is the voice of the people, and we have given the government those who voted, because like I said, I did not vote this election, and that's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to see changes first. But you can't have a government in this long and no one is addressing a critical part of governing this country. And we need our district councils. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The issue I brought to you about nearly 2 weeks ago now still continues with this madness in this neighborhood.
Did anybody reach out to you? Because I shared it with...
No one has reached out to me, and I'm going to put the ploy out again. The minister needs to find time to address what is happening, because if we had our district councils, Ms. Sabrina,
Mm-hmm.
I could go there and voice my opinion, or not my opinion, voice what is taking place. This is what the district councils are for.
But do you know
And
now, even establishing an official, a legal, lawful district council for what is intended under the Constitution requires some amendment to the Constitution, just saying.
Well,
and that has,
they
I'm
need
just
to do
saying,
something,
it's just to educate you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever has to take place needs to take place, because we, the people, those who chose to vote in April, voted. But it still does not make it any better when you don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
You have a voice to voice what you need, but look at how we have to go about doing it. You have to come to a talk show host to get something done in your district. It's not right. You know, what is it going to take for any government to listen that the people put you there, and we want our district councils? We want them because it is the people's voice when you're voicing to the district council what's taking place in your district. And to me, it's pointless having a government when they're not doing some little thing to make us hold them accountable, because district councils would hold them accountable in some part, because if you go to the district council and say, this is what's taking place, what can be done about it? Then it falls on the district council to go to the minister to say, this is taking place. I understand we got a lot of things to deal with, but when the people don't have a voice, it's government. That's how it, because people here don't have a voice. When you go to the police on issues, the police just keep going back and going back and going back. And how long does some have to persist in a community, in a certain area in your district, before one of the neighbors goes off and takes matters into their own hands?
We don't want that. We don't want to ever get there.
Well, people get enough of it. And it is high time that whatever law has to be amended or fixed or changed in our honorable House of Parliament, that the 11 members of the government start doing something. And I would urge every one of them to put on their agenda when they go meet again to amend the laws for the district, because we need them. I can't get the MP that is in charge of my area. That's why I came to you. And all now, nobody has reached out to me.
Well, I sent it on. Your MP. Okay, all right.
But it's like, where are the MPs?
Who is your representative? Just to make sure.
I was told it was Mr. Rolston Anglin area. That's what Miss Catherine Ebanks Wilkes' office told me when they looked.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it was forwarded.
Yeah, but when is something going to get done? Because the same madness, you had to call the police again this weekend for the same madness, so nothing not getting done.
Well, if they
think that the people out here are not pissed off and angry at what is taking place in these neighborhoods, you're crazy. You walk down the street and you smell the weed being smoked.
Well, I'm not saying that one probably did not pass on the message to the powers that be, but it's now for the operational arm. Yeah.
For them to understand, they need to be in there. They have been elected. So now it's time for them to start coming to the districts and having their meetings. And high time for district councils in to where
constitutional district councils, because how those councils, how the councils are actually designed as well, that if you feel that they're not serving the people, actually
then you get rid of them.
But you can't if the constitution isn't changed, and they're paid positions as well.
Yeah, well, then they need to change whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are some amendments
I
in the
mean,
Constitution that would be required in order for it to be a functional council, as you've described, and what outcomes you would want it to be if one is failing their people. Then is what I'm saying.
Because I mean, this is it's pointless to not fix it right, so the people will have a voice, because that is our voice. Our voice is going somewhere to trying to get something done. But when a citizen has to come to another citizen of this country on a talk show to try to get stuff, because this is all I'm hearing. It's not only your shows, it's not only Miss Sandra shows, it's Radio Cayman shows that I hear people calling and complaining. This morning they called and they complained about the HSA again, and this afternoon it was said again. That the elderly are being terribly treated at the hospital. They're not being looked after properly when they go to the hospital, you know? And our elderly are the ones that built this country. What are we doing? When are we going to understand that we do not disrespect or not take care of the people that built this country? We have lost our way as a country, as a little island nation, whatever you want to call us. Because when I hear children of family members on the radio going on about how their family members getting treated at the hospital, all a whole hour coming, you ask 3 times and the nurse not come to do what they got to do for the elderly patient. Yeah, it makes you wonder what is going on at the HSA, and why is the powers that's still there is still there. Why haven't some people been held accountable? District councils, we need our district councils, because the people, the voters, whether you voted in this election or not, need to have a voice. And I would hate to know that it does not happen in this 4-year term, because something has to change in this country. Something has to change. And the mentality towards us Caymanians, we have to start the change. We have to stop being afraid of how we are going to be called out or called upon, and whatever we are going to be called. Because when issues are affecting us, it affects us all. Because we, the people, want our voice. We gave a mandate, those who voted. The government is there. So now the government needs to be held accountable, because I don't see why they can't take an hour or 2 out of their busy schedules of running this country and once a month have a meeting in their districts. And all of them come together, whether you are in the government or not in the government, on the back bench. If you're back bench, and then if you're in the government, but you are in a district, and if it is 4 constituencies or 5, all 5 of you or 4, you need to come together and have one meeting. Put the foolishness aside about being the back bench and the government. You are here to do the people's work. So the people would like to see all you in one place. They don't want to have to come to 4 different meetings in one district. They want all you in one place. You answer the questions being put to you by the public.
Especially if you're a minister, understanding one's responsibility.
So they need to come to the public at least once a month. I'm sorry. It is high time that we hold our elected officials, whether you're government or backbench. It is time we, the people who put them there, hold them accountable. We want meetings monthly. We want the commissioner to come to the districts more. I mean, I had to listen to finance committee over 2 days, Miss Sabrina, to get the answers I needed from the commissioner. And I must say he has a plan. But it should not have taken this long for the gentleman to come to the public with his plan.
But he also was there at a good time fighting.
Crying out.
But he's fighting for money too. So I mean, He can have a
But
plan and he can share the plan, but then if the plan doesn't or isn't a priority with funding, then the plan may fall awry.
yes,
And I think
then if
many times it's out of respect, not only for the sitting administration, but for the
Mhm.
minister as well, that sometimes you will not get the civil servants, in this case, like himself, speaking ahead, and then nothing happens. So it is a balancing act where you, the people, are saying, I want more, I need to know more, why isn't this being done? Then do you do it in collaboration with your minister, or do you do it in this case with the police, with the governor? It's the separation of powers. Who does what? Because what you're asking for to be executed, even though you're holding your representative accountable for delivery, one has to be funded. That's done by your cabinet. Two,
Yes.
if they're get
The
the
money
funding,
needs to be there too.
exactly. Once they fight for it as the minister, which is the minister fighting who's responsible in this case for the police. Now that we're in budget, they have to put their best argument forward to see what can be funded, and then that needs to be looked at from a national security standpoint, which again, everyone knows me, national security and what's happening in the region. But overall of a national budget, there are other buckets that needs to be funded as well. This is where priority comes in. And then like what you rightfully say, why should it have taken us so long to hear from the commissioner? That's the operational arm. So sometimes they don't want to overspeak. Sometimes they would like to speak in collaboration with the minister, but then that's a fine line as well, because it's separating operation from political. But who suffers in the end? The people.
The people. And it's not fair. And, I've been around politics long enough to understand it and I jump at every chance I get to watch the people that have been elected to serve and keep us safe. But, I keep saying the elected the elected government and the elected backbench, there has to be a balance of the people has to come first. And the people need information. We shouldn't hear it from a press release. We shouldn't hear it from this. We should hear it directly from the government, because that's who the people put there. They want to hear it from them. But, the part of don't think that after this election, that the people that voted or didn't vote are not listening, are not watching. I am watching you with a hawk set of eyes. And I want some answers. We want answers out here. We want answers. We want to see our ministers and our elected MPs in our district coming out, getting to know more people. You all did it when you wanted the vote. The election is over. You seem to have forgotten your people. I will leave it there. They seem to have forgotten the people.
Will you say then that because they're so taken up with trying to prepare the budget for finance committee, April, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months, October. 5 months, that it's that we're just becoming too harsh on them? And remember now they're trying to get their strategic policy statement out, which is pretty much the 10 commandments for what's going to rule for the next 4 years, even though the budget cycle is in two rounds. So there's a lot that has to be. I think the same minister on Ralston Island mentioned about the deadline in which SPS needs to be brought to the House as you're then preparing then for budget, that it's a lot to do. Which again does not negate from their responsibilities of keeping connected with their constituents
that and put you there,
of course. And then because you're just coming off the heels of an election and you were into the campaign, which I will ask this question again. After an election, who campaigns?
Nobody.
Exactly. So why?
Nobody.
Okay, because it's campaign season is over. What I have noticed, though, because of the culture, not giving any elected representative a free pass. This is just for this discussion. it appears because of the very nature of how close of a community we are, how intimate we are, that it appears our society remains in campaign mode.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, oh, they're in. We're not campaigning anymore. There's no Cayman flags flying with the Union Jack.
No, but what I'm
at
saying,
our government buildings or
for
wherever else
clarity,
that flies on properly.
For clarity in context, though, it doesn't mean that after the elections, they're not going to be.
People.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they forget you. It's just that they're no longer in campaign mode.
Yeah, but they need to get back into campaign mode because the people, if that's the only mode they know how to get into, they better snap, 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 as they say, snap your fingers real quick because the people want now.
But
we're not
then,
waiting
do you
longer.
feel then for them to be able to get their jobs done, to be able to present a stable budget that is for all, that they can't do that from your doorstep?
No, they can't do it from our doorstep, but I would expect that after this budget is finalized, I want to see some action on the two things I said. I want district councils.
But then, okay, caller, do you then feel then that if the operational arm of the government was a bit more responsive in responding to some of these administrative or operational arm, not necessarily the MP, that they would not be so hard then on the MP? Because everything that I have heard is really on the operational arm of those who are executing, who should be holding people accountable. We wouldn't expect Minister Ralston Anglin to go down to that house and say, turn off that music, stop porting. No, he can't.
It would be for the police to do. But I asked the question the other night when I called Saturday night again. How many times do you have to go to a residence before the equipment is taken and somebody has been arrested? How many calls? How many reports? And I get told you want to hear other conflicting reports when I did it Saturday night. I got told 911 is not the place for you to call. But when I had one of the officers in West, they too have now told me on two separate occasions to get a vehicle dispatched as soon as possible. Do 911. You know what the 911 operator told me? Do you let me give you the number for the Westway police station. I says, no, I have the number. I'm going to call it. But this is pointless. I said to the officer, this is pointless having to do this over again this weekend, the last weekend. How many more times before it stops? How many more times before someone in the neighborhood takes the matter into their own hands? And the officers will say, oh, we're sending a vehicle out to deal with it. But it should not be a process where it has to happen every weekend. It should have been nipped in the bud a long time ago. And it's like, what about the other neighbors in this neighborhood that have to deal with this madness over and over and over and over and over? What about them? What is it going to take? And then the police will tell you, oh, well, there is a process. I told them, I said, this process been gone through so many times. You keep telling me I got to leave my name. I left my name on the go on. I don't leave my name because I get told I don't need to leave it. What is it going to take? And these are issues that are frustrating people in this part of this district. And I'm sure there are others, because I've had one of the police said to me, we have done operations on Conch Point Road, Captain Reginald Drive, Birch Tree Hill in the last week, and Fountain Road to catch people, and we have caught them. So the police now are finally starting to listen. But you can't keep sending police to a residence where someone is smoking weed in their yard, blasting music that you can hear 4 doors down, and burning fires all hours of night in your yard because you want to keep the mosquitoes away. We have rules and laws in this country, and they need to be abided by. And if the police can't fix it, then who else do we have to call upon?
Yeah, you would then go to your MP.
Yeah, but you can't. I understand they're all busy. Everybody is busy in this country. We're trying to survive to live, just like the next one. But we need to have somewhere where when something happens, because the police don't seem to want to shut the madness down when it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But on a whole, I will say, you know, I'm grateful that the government is there,
Mm-hmm.
but it leaves a lot in my mouth. I will say that. Because when you have gone from April, May, June, July, August, September, it is now October in my mind, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
7 months.
Mm-hmm.
7 months has passed. Start having your district meetings once a month, along with the Commissioner of Police. Put all MPs together. You all, I'm going to say this, every MP, hold your differences, whether you're party, independent, or what. The people not looking at that anymore. The people are looking that we have a government that seems to be listening. Finally, for what the public, the people that put you there, those that voted, want change just like those that did not. But when it takes time and time again and nothing is being done about it, something else will happen, because people can only take so much aggravation. And people lash out. That's human nature. So before it gets to that point, the police needs to learn they have the power to shut it down. But tomorrow morning, God spares my life, I am taking a trip to Georgetown. And I'm going to leave my details so that the Commissioner of Police gets them. And I'm going to make sure that I get a call, because I'm going to tell them I've had enough. The people in the neighborhood have had enough where they have to live. Because people have lives, and it shouldn't take week after week of calls to a police station in your district and the police do absolutely nothing. It doesn't sit well with the people in this area, and they have had enough. So I don't know if Mr. Walton is listening, but I will be coming to Georgetown tomorrow morning, and I want to speak to somebody in charge that's going to shut this madness down, because the people in the neighborhood want it gone. And under government, I wish them well. And like I've said before, a government is there because the people put them there. They are the people's voice. And when the people don't have a voice, the people start to retaliate and start to open their mouth and say, this is not working, that is not working, this is not working. But the police is the law. And if the police can't shut it down, then something else has to happen to shut the madness down. But we need our district councils. We need them. And I hope and I pray that we get it sorted before too long. Because if not, things are just going to continue to deteriorate in our districts and in our neighborhoods. Forget about this hashtag 2030. We won't reach there. Because there'll be nobody left to reach there. We'll be all stressed out and mad.
You're chuckling, but it's true. But you know, and it aligns with what I was saying.
Chuckle, Miss Sabrina.
It aligns with what I was saying earlier on. Where do we fit into it? Because still, charity begins at home as people grapple with keeping the lights on, putting food on the table, and in your case, just quality of life with nuances in the community, and even trying to get an access with your MP. You're talking about 2030. I want to get in contact with my MP. I want to know where my So
I want
don't tell me about
no
2030.
Yeah, I don't have any number to call. Who do I call?
I am getting a location for you. I've gotten a location. And I want to thank the Honorable Ralston Anglin for responding. And I'm going to post it right here.
I said thank you too.
And you're going to get a call. I can assure you, you're going to get a call. His temporary office is located, as I've just posted there, 140 Bolton's Avenue. Now, this is only temporary because he's having his challenges in finding a location in West Bay. I'm also working on a preferred contact number for him so that right now, the 140 Bolton's Avenue, West Bay, Grand Cayman, is the temporary office for the Honorable Ralston Anglin. All right.
Okay.
And I will continue to share the information as I get it.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
but I have forward your number. I forward your
Thank you.
And you will get a call.
I just want to say I am not here to bash anybody. I just need to speak to my representative because the police have failed to do their job. So therefore, that's the only other person that I can go to on members and of people that have concerns.
Understood.
Because not everybody wants to open their mouth.
Yeah, they're scared.
But we have to fix what's going on in our neighborhoods because this is where we live and work. And if it continues, then the neighborhood deteriorates and then other things will start happening. So it's not bashing anyone in the government or any MP. I am plainly stating election time has come and gone. 7 months gone. December is upon us. So who don't think that December not upon us? It's already here. It'll be here very quickly, and New Year will too. But we need to be able to access our MPs. And that is all I'm asking for. Because just like me, who has sat and listened to the heartaches of how it affects us, certain people with the loudness, it breaks my heart. I told the policeman the other day, it breaks my heart to hear one of my own have to put up with such madness every weekend.
Further information on the office?
The policeman said to me, he said, there's only 2 units to the West Bay police station that is there. I said, I understand that. But we just want to be able to access our MPs because there are concerns more than me, I'm sure, has in each district. And we need a place to go. And when we go there, we need to know that something is going to get done about. Because as I've stated to the police, I don't call to complain. I call to get something done. Because when something goes on into the wee hours of Sunday morning, when we know we're not supposed to be playing, banging no music, then it becomes unbearable for people because people have lives and they have to live. Just like those who went out to vote, those are the same ones down there that are being affected by that madness. And it has to stop. We want access to our MPs and they need to listen to what the people are saying. Once a month, a 2-hour meeting is not a lot to ask for people of this country that have voted you all in, regardless whether you're government or backbench. You are the representatives and 19 constituencies throughout these 3 islands. And by right, if you vote, you should hold them accountable. So they need to come to the people and they need to come to us and tell us what's going on so that we know what's happening, so that we know what's coming. Because that is what the people demanding now. They're not asking it no more. We are demanding it because those that voted deserve a voice, just like me that did not vote. Those that voted deserve the voice. And the voice is, you all knew us when election was coming around. Now you need to still remember who put you there. Because without the voter putting you there, your salary is all you would not get. So that needs to be the final reminder that the money is being paid to all MPs, government or backbench, by the voters who voted or did not vote. We pay your salary. We are your employer. That's what needs to get out here tonight. We are the government's employer. The government that is there, whether you voted for them or whether you didn't vote, or whether you didn't choose to go vote or cast a vote, we are your employer. And by rights, we should be able to be kept abreast and up to date with everything that is happening in this country because it affects all of us. No more about this, not going to do this or not going to do that. Put your differences aside and work for the betterment of this country. Because I can tell you, the children growing up today, growing up in a different era than we grew up in. It ain't no child that's going to sit down and plotting with their grandmother or mother like I did, or maybe others did. So it's a different age. It's called technology. And at a touch of a button, you can find something out. When I needed to do it growing up, I had to go to the encyclopedia volumes to find it.
Well,
So,
caller, if you see me typing and going away, it's because I'm in.
That's okay.
It's to prove that
That's okay.
The office is open. It is operational. He was waiting.
Okay.
He was waiting. The Honorable Minister, this is Ralston Angling, was waiting for signage and etc. But the office is open while setup continues. But please note, this is a temporary location, which is 140 Bolton's Avenue, West Bay. It's a temporary location because he's having some challenges in locating.
Finding a place.
But I'm now trying to work on getting a number that will be also WhatsApp, but he's having some issues as well. I'm still trying to get a number. Once I have that, I will put it on this link. But
well, like I said, this is not to bash nobody in the government. I understand they're busy, and I know Mr. Anglin is doing his utmost 1,000%, because if there's anyone over the years that I have followed in politics, it's Mr. Ralston Anglin. And I will tell you, when he says something is going to get done, it will get done the best way possible, because he has the interests of this country at heart. I know that much. So it's not about bash. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm just saying we need to be kept informed out here, because not only me don't feel informed sometimes. There's a lot of other persons that I talk to, and they want the same thing. We need to have access to our government and our MPs, because we all have to live here, and it's better we all get on the same boat to understand that when something affects people, it affects people. And if the police cannot solve that, then where else do we have to go for issues like this? Because hadn't I brought it to you, I would still be screaming somewhere else at the police. So,
well, let's hoping that you know.
Yeah, I wish them well, and I will leave this here. I wish the government well, because we need a stable government. We need people to work together, put their differences aside, and work together for the betterment of this country. Because although I might not have a child, I have friends that have children, and I have family that have children that have children. Those are the ones you keep fighting for, because when I am long dead and gone, those are the ones will carry on the goodness of this country and do good for this country and its people. So that's all I'm trying to make clear here, that enough time has long gone past, and we need to have avenues when stuff are happening in our district. We need to have them, because the police at this point, to my understanding, seems helpless to do anything about what was done, what is happening. So I thank you. I know I've been ranting. Some people would say I only call to rant. No, I don't call to rant. I'm calling to try to get understanding of stuff. But the government and the MPs have to understand, you came to the people, they voted you in, election is over. And if it takes election mode to get you back into the mode, then get back into the election mode.
I've just shared the number. I've just shared
your people.
I've just shared the office number, which is also the MP of, that's the West Bay North MP's office, their number. So yeah, it is 323-0926.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I'll leave it there. Like I said, I'm not bashing anybody. I've apologized. I'm saying
I don't think in this case, to be honest, caller,
that I don't bash people. I come with the facts, and the plain fact is the people want to have all of their MPs to be accessible to them, because it's not only this issue in this district that's happening. I'm sure there's other constituencies in this district that things are happening. And we want to fix things to make life better for everyone here, because we all have to live together. And it shouldn't take 10 calls, 15 calls over and over months, and the police do absolutely nothing, because people in this area have had enough.
Yes, sir.
We've just we've really had enough. And I don't know how to say it anymore. I will say this and leave it there. I wish the government well. I wish the opposition well. And all I'm asking as one citizen of this country is to please, when all you are in that honorable house, you do the people's work to the best of your ability, and you come together to fix, to make a start to fix what is bothering and what is happening and what needs to be fixed in this country, to make it a place that when the Cayman Islands is called, when you say you are from the Cayman Islands or you hear the Cayman Islands name called, it is a place that you can say, oh boy, I want to have that on my bucket list to go visit, because they seem like they know what they're doing. That's all I'm asking for. So I will leave it there, and thank you, Miss Sabrina.
Thank you very much, caller.
Having a voice and not having a place to come and voice what is happening makes no absolutely sense to me in this country. This is a democratic society, and I tell people every day, we are under the United Kingdom, and there are many times that I have sat and I have watched what takes place in the outside world and go, you know what? I wouldn't want to be no other part but than right there, right now, because it has kept us stable and it has kept us prosperous because of who we are under. And I know we all have our scribbles and our squabbles, but I can tell anyone, when I land in the UK, if I go on a trip and I present my UK passport, my real British one, not my BOTC, my British, all that gets said to you is a stamp in your passport, a few words, and then the immigration officer will look at you and tell you, welcome home. That's what they tell you. So I will leave it there, Miss Sabrina. I thank you.
I forward you the contact details for your representative's office.
A passport carries a lot of clout in this country, and I wouldn't want any other passport than the British one or the BOTC one.
Okay.
Because it's what we have, and it's what we have to deal and work with. And I am blessed to have it. So, and I'm blessed to finally have a government that listens to the people. And I hope the powers that be don't meddle and interfere into the people's work getting done this 4 years. Because I can tell you, if it starts, you will hear me back on your show running my big Cayman and Malfunky my bride, because I can run it when I need run it. But I'm not going to disrespect or hurt anyone in the process. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Very much, because you are bringing the issues that need to be brought to this country.
Thank you, caller.
I thank you very much, and I thank you for the time. God bless you. Till tomorrow. Good night, Miss Sabrina.
Good night, my dear.
Good night,
I sent you the number.
Bye-bye.
Check your WhatsApp. Okay?
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Take care. Sure.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, it looks as though you all have me going until 7:30, and I even gone over by 2 minutes. Yes. But again, this is what makes a community. This is what makes a podcast platform where you can actually engage. I like the fact that we have our powers that be, again, the uniqueness of our jurisdiction, who can respond back in real time and share the information with you. And I'm hoping that the issues that is at hand, especially in West Bay North, that has been described and that has been advocated so loudly and constantly. There's one thing, he has been constant with the cry, the call for attention. And we do it here. We share it right here. And this is what the space is for. This is by no means using it to hijack anyone. And it speaks a lot about our people, about He's being very vocal with concerns that's bothering him, yet he's apologizing because he wants to not see this government fail. I have said it here many a times, contrary to what others may believe or think. I really don't care. I honestly don't want the government to fail. But when you have situations like this and people that are crying out, you got to call it out for what it is. And this is why when they fail, we all fail. And we don't want that. We want peace, harmony in our society. We want the well-being to be just like anywhere else. And I see Miss Juliet was asking for a Solis. Juliet Solis was asking for a kaboom for the caller. I will in a second. And, this is what we want. This is what we want. And your participation is key. You can see we got the minister's location. We know that he does have an office. It is open. He's waiting for signage. And for all the persons in West Bay North especially, that's your MP's office. That's his phone number. And it also has a WhatsApp society as well, 140 Bolton's Avenue. And, you can get your MP there. So if the others would respond to where their locations are, or look, they all got you in WhatsApp's chat. So make it public. They don't know how to use this. But if you all call and you make a complaint that you can't get them, you want to get them, I'm going to do my best to try and reach them. And I'm going to forward your concerns to them. But before I close today's Mindful Monday, just allow me to say this. This is Raleigh's personal cell. No, ma'am. That is for his office. That is his office. And that is where he's going to run his constituency from, Miss Rose. That is the constituency's office number. His personal cell, I don't have that, but I'm sharing in the public's domain the office number that he has given. And this is what should be in the public's domain. Unless anything else changes, this was shared with me and I'm sharing it with you. But please allow me to just say, we are blessed to live in a place, as I alluded to, that feels safe, stable, and familiar. We're actually so connected in so many ways. Many a times, any unrest that we have is based on egos and personalities and just sometimes sheer ignorance. But comfort can be a quiet trap. Complacency as well can be a trap. It can lull us into thinking that danger is in a distance. We've heard all of the conversations being had here today, from nuances within the constituencies, complaints made at the hospital, from the way our elderly is being treated. We're talking about what's happening on a global scale. We even brought up a little bit on national ID, immigration reform, that I don't feel that conversation will go away anytime soon, whether or not you think we're beating a dead horse. And the biggest takeaway is I want to know what's happening now. I want a resolution for what's happening now. 2030 is coming. Yes, I agree. Where that takes us is another thing, but I first need to get in contact with my MP. But the Caribbean in itself, we still can't take our finger off the pulse. We can't stick our heads in the sand because the Caribbean is shifting. It is shifting. Things and times have changed. Yes, Trinidad is tense. Venezuela is also volatile. And Cayman, you may ask, are we not immune? Are we not invisible? No, we're not. We are not invisible. We are not immune. We are part of this region, economically, culturally, spiritually, and many a times, even depending on each other's for resources. So I ask you, I put it out there. What was your takeaway from today's discussion? Do you feel that we're ready? Not just our leaders, us individually. Are we ready to welcome the displaced with dignity? Are we ready to challenge mixed messages from those in power or no messages at all? We see that clarion call for more dialogue, for more communication, for more access. Are we ready to protect our borders without losing our humanity? What if the script was flipped? Are we ready to protect our borders without losing our humanity? Yes, I had to ask that again because readiness is not just about policies, It's about our mindset. It's about vigilance. It's also about asking the hard questions and refusing to be pacified by soft answers. You've heard our caller said, we want it now, whether or not you voted. Let's give this government a chance, but at least be open, honest, transparent, and answer us in a timely manner. So this evening, with the headlines fading as each day, each edition, Windows headlines do fade. And the house quiets. Ask yourself, what have I done to prepare? You prepare for hurricanes. You really can't prepare for an earthquake. You prepare for the holidays. You prepare for so much things. What do you expect from those who lead? And what will you do if tomorrow demands more courage than today? This is not fear-mongering. Let me repeat. This is not by any means fear-mongering. This is not just spewing conspiracy theories. I'm honestly just bringing the conversations. This is mindfulness, in my humble opinion. This is civic love as well. This is our Caribbean truth. Doesn't matter whose flag we're flying. But until next time, let that stick in for a bit. And I want to beg us. I want to appeal to each and every one of us to stay aware, stay grounded, and stay ready. I'm Sabrina, and it has been a pleasure bringing you another edition of Sabrina Speaks, where silence ends and the truth begins. Until tomorrow, have a safe evening and God bless.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.